All right. Well, welcome to Sound Mind, Sound Body. I'm Izzy Naud. My business is Izzy Naud Wellbeing. I'm a health and well-being coach for the music industry, and I help artists and electronic music professionals to prevent burnout and take care of their health, to become masters of their health and well-being. I have a program that's one on one called Back on Track. That's a 12-week personalized program where we do some Tai Chi, some Qigong, and fitness. And I also guide my clients with their health and well being. Also, I'm well connected with other health professionals and therapists and practitioners, and I can recommend other professionals. It's not only me, so you're in good hands. And today we're going to talk about burnout. And why is that topic important? Because recently we've seen in the news that Paula Temple has stopped touring because she had a burnout and she wants to take time to take care of herself, and that she is not the only artist who is experiencing these type of challenges. And myself, I am here on a mission because I had my own burnout back in 2011. At that time, I was starting an artist management agency here in Barcelona, where I live, and I didn't know how to set up the business. I didn't have any mentors. I was going out a lot. I was traveling a lot. I didn't have so many healthy habits. And at one point, I was coming back from Amsterdam dance event, and I came back to Barcelona, and I was totally, my system was just like not responding anymore. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I had like weird thoughts. And in the end, I had to go sadly to the mental health hospital where they didn't know about burnout at that time. And they prescribed me medication for schizophrenia. And that got me into a really breakdown and a depression. And what helped me to carry on and get back to a lovely life again was that I was practicing Kung Fu and Tai Chi, and my martial art practice really saved my life. I can say that today. And I also did some other therapies such as acupuncture and hypnotherapy, which works on the subconscious. And now I see health as a whole, and in my work I look at the physical, the mental, the emotional, the energetic, and spiritual dimensions of health because everything is related. So today we're going to see what are the 10 signs of burnout. I'd like to know if you can post in the chat if you know, if you have a few ideas that come to mind when we say, oh, here's a sign of burnout. Insomnia, right. Feeling of constant exhaustion, correct. Yes. Anything else that comes to mind? Appetite issues, right. Yes, that's the big one. Anxiety, overwhelm. Okay, so I see that you are knowledgeable, huh? You are quite aware. So let's go through the 10 signs that I have written down, and I have them in a checklist that I will send to you after with the replay of this workshop. So it's beats the burnout. So the first sign is chronic fatigue. So basically, as much as you rest and sleep, it's just like you feel like you're always exhausted. Every day you wake up and you're like, it's everything is like draining you. It's like, whoa, it's not only like being tired, it's just that it's ongoing, and it lasts day after day, week after week, and months after months. And so there's this feeling of like, I can't anymore. I can't. I'm exhausted. Then another thing, that the second sign is insomnia. So they kind of go together, because when we don't have restful sleep, then it impacts, of course, the whole system. And then we can compensate with caffeine or other stimulants, and then that it gives a toll, that puts a toll on our body, on our physical body, our mental body, as well as the emotional. So yes, insomnia is a big one. And then the third, we can't focus, or we can't stay productive. Why is that? Well, that's also related to like not resting enough, or having a sleep that is not restorative. Just impacts us, impacts our mood, impacts our capacity to work and to concentrate. And then so we start to go into a downward spiral. We have loss of appetite. So we skip meals, or we don't eat nourishing meals. We make some poor choices in terms of food. And that's on the verge of burnout. Physical pain and health issues. So each time we were talking on the phone, she was like, "It's never ending. It's never ending." And I have pain, and when it's happening often and on a long term, well, that's also a sign to watch out for, because maybe that means that we're on the verge of a burnout. Then there is anxiety. So, anxiety, we face anxiety when we are facing some situations that can be a bit stressful. Of course, like we're living in a fast-paced society. In the music industry, it's very intensive, very demanding. We always have like deadlines that were for yesterday, and so there is this like ongoing level of stress. The problem is when it's too long, and during a too long period. That's when we have um, some chronic anxiety, and that's when it becomes a problem for mental health. And then we have depression. So that goes back to once we add all these signs, they kind of like feed one into each other. Because, for example, if we don't eat well, if our diet is not well balanced, if we don't have enough vitamins and minerals and protein, well, that is gonna definitely impact our mood. And yes, oh, comorbid symptoms, right? Yes, Sarah. And so if we don't eat the right food, we're gonna have we can easily fall into depression. If we're having physical pain, that can also lead to depression. If we feel like we can't focus, we can't concentrate, it's like, yes, this downward spiral where we're like start being like, oh, what's wrong with me? Why can't I move forward? What's going on? I don't understand. And it's like this starting to doubt. And then the eighth sign is detachment and isolation. Like we start finding excuses to not see our friends anymore. It's like, oh, that event, no, I feel like tonight I'm not up for it. And so it starts with one time, and then we become accustomed to not go out anymore, to stop our social gatherings, and to just be like on our own at home and trying to like move forward with our situation, and we isolate, and that's also a critical sign. Then the last two signs are anger and irritability. So this is like when we just want to kill everybody because they're going on our nerves. It's like, what's going on? I Nothing is working. I don't function, and the other people, they're also like bothering me. Everything is wrong, and so it's like this circle. And in the end, the last sign is a lack of energy and motivation. So this is when we start also to procrastinate, and like we don't want to work anymore. And in the end, like when it's just too much, that's when we start calling in sick. And with the accumulation of all those signs, then that can be a moment when the person is going to go see their doctor and say, okay, I need a sick leave because I can't anymore. And so now the healthcare system is educated about burnout, so they can help out the patients there who come to see them and say, okay, I'm experiencing these signs of fatigue, insomnia, loss of appetite, and so professionals can guide their patients. And also, we can stay ahead of burnout with some practices. And so I came up with some 10 practices to stay ahead of burnout. So I work really with the prevention in terms of health. Of course, I can help people who are already facing some uh, deep situation, critical situations. And at the same time, because I work with traditional Chinese medicine and Chinese martial arts, the goal is to use these practices to prevent falling sick and ill. So, how to stay ahead? One, we want to prioritize rest. So, okay, maybe sometimes we're having short nights, or we're gigging all night, or we're touring and we have like short nights. Okay, then to compensate, we want to take some naps and program the naps, and also choose and schedule some times for resting. This is very important because otherwise, by default, we tend to just go for any activity apart from our work, but like anything that comes to us, we're active and we take on more and more activities. At the same time, it is important to learn to be still and rest. And for example, just like lay down or go to into the nature and let our gaze watch like either the clouds in the sky or go into the forest and observe in the distance. That's also something that can help a lot. Um, Second, you want to nature therapy. Exactly, Sarah. This is really one important thing to do. When we live in cities, we're like always from one building to another building, and that's why I'm grateful to live in Barcelona, where we have a nice weather and there are many parks, and I can go into the nature. I try to go into the nature at least once a week. That's for sure. Okay, second, you want to watch your diet. It's very important to make sure we have the right nutrients when we eat and not just splurge on ice cream or a lot of chips, junk food, pizzas. So this is something that what we eat is who we become. It's not only the taste and the consistency of what we're eating, what the food is made of, but what we put inside our body, it impacts our cells. And based on that, we really want to be mindful of what we eat. And we want to move our body. Moving our Exercising, moving our body has been shown that to reduce depression. So before going on antidepressant meds, we need to move our body, start like start walking if everything is too complicated, and then little by little go find activities we like. I don't know if you're like me being in the music, if you love dancing, but dancing is an excellent antidepressant. And then we want to practice mindfulness. So this is about stopping to believe our thoughts. We want to just choose to be present in the here and now. And this can be done with meditation or journaling or drawing or painting, any activity that keeps us busy, like conscious and mindful of being in the here and now. Baking is also one. If you like baking or cooking, uh, ceramic, all kinds of activity that puts us like 100% into the activity. And then if you are a touring artist or a professional who travels a lot, you want to stay connected with your close ones and be like set up times when you call your family, call your friends, and be connected. Don't stay on your own. I'm thinking, Sarah, I hope you talk with your friends and your family, yeah, while you're traveling all around. Hmm. And then we want to set realistic boundaries. Why is that important? Because when we say yes to everything that's coming from far from us, from others, people's wants and asks, it's of course we want to be helping others, but at the same time, it's important that when we say yes to others, it's we are not saying no to ourselves. So I learned with time, because I've been a people pleaser for many years, that I had to say no to others. So that would mean a yes to myself. And in that way, we can really like prioritize. And one good tool is to, when we have a request from someone, is to say, oh, thank you for asking or for offering or for your interest. I am going to think about it and I'll get back to you in 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, to give us time, to give ourselves time to really take a decision mindfully and not saying yes because it's automatic. So is a big one. It could be a whole workshop. Then when we have realistic boundaries, that allows us to manage our time better, because then we're not accepting everything that comes in, and then we have a never ending to-do list and a mountain of tasks and actions to do. No, like when we say yes to something, then we can plan on it and work on those mindfully chosen tasks and actions and projects. We're getting almost to the end. We want to pursue non music related hobbies. How is that for you? I'm curious. What are your hobbies outside music? If you want to share in the chat. Dancing different styles. Yes. Dancing to music. Yeah. I have like no more hobbies, but also don't listen to music anymore, really. Oh, interesting, Micah. Photography. Oh, that's wonderful. And ceramics and gardening. I'm in my mid 30s. Okay, thank you, Victoria, for sharing that. Yes. Hmm. Yes. So my other life apart from music are the martial arts, and this is like a whole world in itself. Like I'm so grateful that I've started that path of practicing martial arts because it's an ongoing journey, and I always learn new practices, new practices. Okay, one that's very important now is learn to unplug. Our big challenge is that we're always on the smartphones and always on the computers and in calls, in Zoom calls, or like doing Excel sheets or presentations, or like being on social media if we have to post. And this is like really, first of all, it's like time consuming. It's taking our energy, and then we can get into like in the rabbit hole, and whoa, it's and so now there are tools on the phone where that can help us manage our usage. So, for example, we can decide that after 10 minutes of being on Instagram, the app stops because we requested that it it kicks us out of it. So we don't go in an endless scrolling rabbit hole. And also, we want to put our phone in silent mode or in do not disturb mode so we can do deep work. That's an important one also. And then also gathering the actions, the tasks that are similar, like instead of having the email box always open, saying, okay, I will be reading my emails only after 10 in the morning, so I don't start my day and immediately get into the requests and ask from others, but first work on deep work and then get into answering emails. I also feel much ease when limiting my scrolling time on TikTok or Instagram as I find creating much more productive. Yes, thank you for sharing. Totally, yes. So we have the tools now to be more mindful in our social media usage, and also I invite you. That's a challenging one to have like one day or half a day of leaving the phone at home and just like meeting with friends and doing some other things, or like going into the nature without the phone and disconnecting, and to really be in the present moment, and because we got used to have the phone all the time. So like right the other day, a friend of mine was saying, "Oh, you have a watch. That's really good because you can take your smartphone to watch what time it is." I'm like, "No, I like to read the time on my watch, so I'm not opening my phone to get the time because otherwise you don't know what's on the phone. You can have notifications and then oops, what's going on?" Not having my phone for a week. Wow, it got stolen in Barcelona was partially amazing for this reason. Presence, exactly. Had to ask people for directions and have maps printed out. Old school. Exactly. Yes, we forget that before we were talking to people. We were asking our way on the street. We would we would talk more with people I was super positively surprised when I went to Amsterdam for Amsterdam Dance Event. I was taking the plane, and next to me was a young Spanish guy, and I took a book, and he started the conversation about, "Oh, how do you like this book? I've heard about it. Can you tell me about it?" And then we started talking, and it happened that he also practiced qigong, and so it's like if there was another person practicing qigong in the plane, that was him, and we got seated at the same just next to each other, and we could just have a conversation in the plane. I was like, wow, it's been so long since I didn't have a long conversation on the plane because everyone is with their headsets and doing their thing, and it's like, yes, let's connect with people again and be more spontaneous. Right, connection is really important. Totally, yes. So I invite you to just leave your phone and uh, and go out and meet people and and be present. And one of the Burning Man principles is radical self-expression, and also um, how we say that, spontaneity, like being in the moment. uh, Immediacy is the word. Immediacy, being like in the present moment, and who's there, you're gonna be like, "Hey, oh, I love your outfit," or something, and being like really there. And connecting is such important because we are human beings where we need to socialize. And so the last um, advice is to seek professional help when it becomes to be too overwhelming, when we feel like we're not getting out of it, and that despite all our efforts, we feel like we're turning into in circles. Then it's important to learn to ask for help. So that can be to go see your doctor, to see either a therapist like a psychologist, and I would advise first a psychologist. Then, if it's like too complicated, maybe a psychiatrist. But know that psychiatrists, they're there to prescribe medication because they have their big all mental health disorder manual where they look symptoms and then they prescribe you medication. But that's not working on the root problem. You can also see health and well-being professionals. I recommend people like Chinese doctors, acupuncturists, also people who do hypnosis. That's a good method. And then also health practices like physical practices like either yoga or like Chinese martial arts, or go receive some therapy, physical therapy that also impacts the energy, like shiatsu massage, or go get Ayurvedic massage, and also work on on the nutrition. That is also one element. And there are three pillars in health, which are the sleep, the nutrition, and the exercise. And we want to optimize those three. And finally, after these 10 practices, I also want to gift you a practice which is called Qi Belt Qi Gong. And I'd like to invite you to stand up if you can, where you're at. I'm going to show you this exercise, which is going to help you get centered in a matter of minutes. So let's see. Yes. All right. Okay. So we want to separate our feet for the width of the hips. And then we bend slightly our knees and the tailbone drops so that we have our back that's straight. And then we relax the shoulders and our arms are on both sides with space below the armpits. And we're gonna inhale and the hands are gonna go up and we're gonna straighten up our legs. And then we exhale and the hand goes down, hands go down, and we imagine that there is a balloon that we want to make push inside our belly. And we exhale and push the imaginary balloon and bend slightly our knees. And again, we inhale and the hand goes up to the level of the shoulder. And exhale, bend slightly the knees and push the balloon in the belly. Bending the knees. And we inhale, straighten the legs, hands go up. Exhale, bend slightly the knees and push the imaginary balloon inside the belly. And we're going to do this during like 1 minute maybe, or maybe not even. Inhale, hands go up. Exhale, hands go down. We press the imaginary balloon. And again, inhale, hand goes up. And exhale, bend the knees slightly. Push the imaginary balloon. And again, inhale, hands go up. Exhale, bend slightly the knees and push the imaginary balloon. Two more times. Hands go up. And we bend the knees. Hands go down. Exhale. And last time. Hands go up. And exhale. Hands go down. We press the imaginary balloon. And we want to concentrate the energy in the dantian, which is 3 fingers below the navel. And we put one hand on top of the other. In that area, we can close the eyes. And little by little, we can open the eyes. I'm curious how you feel with that. Wusa was fabulous. So this exercise helps to reduce anxiety in a matter of minutes, and also it helps become grounded, and it can be useful before going on stage if you're a performer, or before speaking if you're a public speaker, or before accomplishing like a arduous task. This really helps us to get centered and calm down the nervous system, because the movements are slow, and they are going with the rhythm of the breathing, and that puts our nervous system in the calm state. So we stop being on a fight or flight. We go back into the ventral mode. And that exercise, I will send you in the replay a video so you can practice at home. What is this, Sarah?
I actually I did some work with a sports medicine. It was like some alternative. Um, I was looking into like massage therapy and just different anxiety reducing techniques. And this device, I highly recommend it. So when we were having a conversation, he told me in the middle of it that like he could tell just from the conversation we were having that I wasn't breathing correctly, that
Oh,
all my breath was coming. He was like, I can tell you're holding your breath as you're talking. And that's like you're holding on to a lot of this anxiety because your breath is not flowing correctly. So this device, it's athletes use it, but anybody who's having issues with anxiety, it really helps to force you to breathe from your diaphragm, from your lower belly.
wow. And
It's a
so,
really great tool. Yeah.
so like what, you hold it in your hand?
Yeah, so there's like different pressures in terms of the intensity. So you hold it and you breathe into it. You take deep breaths in and then you breathe out. And the way that the device is, like the mechanism, it forces you to have to breathe you like intentionally from your diaphragm, and it actually strengthens your diaphragm so that you can start to breathe the way that we're intended to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super interesting. Well, thank you for sharing, Sarah.
You're welcome. I hope it's
Yes.
helpful.
Oh, and Maker has also one to share. Hmm. Let me take a look at that. Aerobic. Yes, now there are many like health and well-being tools and equipment. Wow. And how does that thing work? Do you know, Maker? No?
No, I've actually not used it. I'm not sure like where I saw it. I think I listened to a podcast and somebody was mentioning it, and then I Googled it, but it was a bit pricey to just buy it.
Wow. Oh, and they have like a virtual training coach, and you have a subscription for to like train you how to breathe. Wow. Yes, there's definitely many tools now. Oh, wow. Breathing exercise. Wow. Wow, that's intense. Hmm. Well, thank you for sharing all of those. Yes. And so I want to finish my presentation by saying that it, please, if you've noticed some signs that you're having some challenges, do reach out to professionals. Do talk with your close friends, your close circles. If you're an artist and you have a manager, talk to your manager. Um, if you're a professional, talk to your HR, depending in which type of organization you are. But do communicate about what's happening in your life in terms of health and well-being, because this is essential. Like we cannot afford to lose more people, I want to say, because every person is unique. Every life is precious. So it's important to like open up, reach out if you need help. And also, I invite you, like when you're talking with people, if you can detect that they're going through some struggle, also let them know that if you can be there to listen to them for a moment. Say, oh, if you want, I can check on you once a week, if you it's so to make sure that you're doing all right, or you can call me and we can talk. And otherwise, also advise them to reach out to professionals, either doctors or therapists or persons like me. And then, so depending on where you are located, there are some organizations. Um, in the UK, there's one called Tronic uh, Tronic Music. It's about mental health. They have I write it in the chat. They offer some sessions where people can share. There's also this lady for touring professionals, Susie Green. She does the back the back lounge. That's so she has every Wednesday a Zoom where people who are touring professionals can share or listen to a presentation, and you can look her up. And then I know there are some hotlines, but I'm not aware of the phone numbers in the UK. And then also in terms of music, there is MITC for psychologists specialized in the music industry. So it's music industry therapist collective. There you go. Oops, therapist. I don't know if can I edit? Yes. Let me edit this. Okay. And I am also here to for anybody who needs to talk, and you can reach me on Instagram, through email, or on my socials. And so for with the replay, I will put that in the video description, and people who have attended the workshop or people who had registered for today's workshop, they will receive an email with the replay link. And also I will share my Beat the Burnout checklist, so you can have it also in a written form. And I will share with you the Qi Belt Qi Gong exercise. I'll send you the link to the video. And from there, you can contact me for anything. I'll stop the recording and we'll have the open conversation now.